Hello, friends from the comic world. My name is Hector,
And my name is G.
and we're here to talk to you about the releases for graphic novels and collected editions for December 2024. G and I work for Penguin Random House, so the titles that we talked about in these videos are from the publishers that we represent into those markets. Also, note that we're on social media, so you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter, and of course YouTube on there at PRH International Comics. We'll leave links in the description below. So to let you know, if you haven't watched these videos from us every month before, first of all, what the heck are you doing? Start watching them. But second of all, the way they work is we G and I pick a few titles that are we want to highlight because we're really looking forward to them, and then we continue showing you highlights of the titles, some of the other titles that are coming out on the month, and then we'll leave you with the rest of the list. So you'll be able to see every single title that is coming out during the month of December for graphic novels and collected editions. Also, now there are sometimes delays in production or changes in schedule, so you might see a few titles here and there that we had talked about before previously in other videos. So just bear that in mind. And without further ado, let's get started with our picks. And the first one is one of mine. This is Black Sight, written by the amazing Stephanie Phillips, and art and colors by Connor Boyle, and letters by Tom Napolitano. Sorry. So Black Sight is, follows this woman who's traveling alone during the 1960s in Europe, and she's a vibrant, lonely American called Alex Greer, and she walks into a club in Amsterdam, and suddenly her life just changes. And something happens the next morning. She wakes up and she finds herself accused of murder. Later on, she finds that they take her away, and she's in prison in what she realizes is a CIA black site that is used for psychological experimentation. And it's just this thriller, sort of very sort of like Hitchcock type psychological thriller, following this woman and everything that is suddenly happening in her life. So this is collecting the miniseries that was 5 issues, and like I mentioned, obviously, Stephanie Phillips, who I'm a huge fan of, and I'm sure all of you are, who does amazing writing, but also is illustrated by Connor Boyle, an amazing artist who's based in the UK, also. So that's it. There you go. It's coming right up in December. Look for
Mhm.
it.
All right, next up, my pick, Drive Like Hell. This is about Bobby Ray and Dahlia who planned the perfect bank heist, and they even stole the perfect getaway car. Just one tiny, teensy little problem. The car belongs to the devil himself, and he wants it back. So they find themselves embroiled in this like high octane chase across the highways on this run from demonic cops, satanic bikers, and psychotic religious freaks, and all of them are after the car and the mysterious artifact in its trunk. With all the forces of evil on their trail, there's only one thing that they can do, which is drive like hell. Hence the title of this comic. This collects issues number 1 to 4. With the series, like all the series covers and a sketchbook section also included within this trade paperback collection. So yes, really cool, really fun.
Excellent. And we continue with Returnal Fallen Astoria. This is based on the hit video game from Sony and PlayStation, and I think it's available also on PC now. And it's written or created by the creative team at Housemark, and also by Gregory Loudon, Khalil. Osaimi and Mikhail Haberi. And this graphic novel, or this, is illustrated by Aaron Jarvinen and Igor Lomov, both artists from Finland. So, like I said, this is based on the video game, and the story of the video game, it follows the spaceship Helios that crashes into a hostile alien world, and the main character, who you see here on the cover, Celine Vassos, she's the lone Astro Scout that survives, and she must fight for her life against a horrific hostile that live beyond the shadows, every shadow. She has to find the white shadow signal, but she's involved. There's like all these illusions that she sees, and at the same time, she finds herself sort of in a time loop, and she doesn't know what's real and what's not. So a very fun story, perfect from to be adapted from the video game into a graphic novel for sure. And this video game itself won a lot of awards and accolades. Even won best video game at the British Video Game Awards the year it came out. So very cool, not just for fans of video games, but also fans of sci-fi. So looking forward to this one, definitely.
Moving on from IDW, we have Golgotha Motor Mountain. So basically, there's these chunks, and specifically one big chunk of passing interstellar rock that rains down on Elmwood, and it also rained down on Vernon Damage's like meth lab, essentially in Kentucky. So their
Mhm.
lives are overturned with this like I guess this damage that has caused this like catastrophic event that has upturned their lives. And this their lives have now turned into this body horror nightmare that they just did not expect to happen. But they still need to make their deliveries because they're running a meth lab. So mutations are not, they continue with the deliveries to buyers. And so doesn't matter what adventures or chaos they run into because at the end of the day, they need to sell their wares, and they run through cosmic hell, and very unlikely to survive through this like horrific terrain that they've embarked on. And if they do, if these two brothers do survive, and if they do finally make enough money, maybe they can go to the a beautiful utopia that is Cincinnati.
Great. And now for something a little bit lighter compared to everything else that we picked so far, although it does have a little bit of mystery in it. This is Surfside Girls: The Clue in the Reef. This is by King Dwinell. Sorry for mispronouncing that. This is the fourth book in the series, which inspired a animated show that is on Apple TV Plus. In this book, specifically, this one is a story of um, follows Sam and Jade during the Surfside Day Festival, and both have been forced to dress up in 1850s garb and work at Burger Dude Ranch. But when they are paddling down to Danger Point Break, it's obvious there's a mystery to be solved because there's the Surfside girls, so they're always going to have a mystery. So they start seeing these creatures and are stranded across a rock, and a lot of weirdness unfolds, like in the other books. And Sam and Jay have to reopen the Journal of Weird and start searching for clues, and the adventure starts, of course. If you haven't checked these out, I highly recommend it. They're great for kids, but they're also very entertaining. They have, all the key elements of like Nancy Drew and Scooby Doo and Gang kind of feeling, but also mixed in with the beach and surfing and the other, like I said, this is the third book. There's two other books that are also stories, but there's also the Science of Surfing, a surf-sized girl's guide to the ocean, which is a book that has a little bit of, it teaches you, it's kind of a like uh uh sorry, a guide to sea life. It also has hints on surfing, which I read because I really need them. I am a frustrated surfer. I always wanted to surf and I'm so terrible at it. And it's, shame for me as a Puerto Rican. But anyways, so I highly recommend these. These are amazing and like I said, there's a new one coming out in December, and check out the animated series also. It's very cool. So there you go.
All right, and next up we have slightly exaggerated. What you'll see on the cover, this is the world that they're living in. Basically, like it's a land where there's sky whales in the air. We'll have airships that populate the horizon, as beautifully illustrated on the cover. That follows the story of Mia, who basically, her and her companion Winston are caught up in this scheme beyond what they've ever comprehended, and it gets very complicated. So basically, to sum it up, she needs to steal back this sacred artifact from this crazed cult leader to restore order. And she needs to do this before her sickness overcomes her in this like whimsical fantasy world where religion is law. And so Mia has this like treasure finding talent. And again, it drags her into this like perilous world. There's factions that are waging war, and everyone is trying to obtain again the sacred relic. And to give you a sense of why the relic is capable of granting the person the power of God. And so, within weeks left to live, Mia is prepared to sacrifice everything to save her friends. And again, beautiful colors on this, beautiful comic in itself, fantastic story. Highly recommend.
Yes. And that's it for our picks. And we're going to continue highlighting some of the other titles that come out in December. And first off, we're going to start talking about this five titles that are part of the new batch of DC Finest that are coming out. And we have DC Finest, Catwoman, Lifelines. We have Zero Hour Part One. We have a Green Lantern, the defeat of the Green Lantern. We have Justice Society of America for America and Democracy, and we have Legion of Superheroes. Zap goes the Legion. And I want to mention that, if you don't know, these are a new format that DC has come up with. They're about $40 and around the 600 pages, and they collect whole like stories, right? It's whole run, not whole runs, but whole stories. But also to note, some of these stories have never been collected together in one place. So it's also very unique and for people who collect other editions of DC, this is also something it doesn't stop you from collecting these also. And they're doing very well. So check them out.
Mhm. All right, continuing on, we have the Ambassadors Library Edition, Aquaman by Peter David Omnibus, Batman Battle for the Call, the complete collection, Tony Daniel. We have By a Thread. This is written by Scott Snyder and his son, Jack Snyder. And then we have Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky Omnibus Volume 2. This is the Latour cover. Uh, and we continue here.
We continue with Dawn Runner by Rampy. And then we have DC versus Marvel, the Amalgam Age Omnibus. And like when I mentioned at the beginning, there were some things that were pushed back. This was one that was pushed back, finally coming in
Should
December.
also
Then
be a
we,
direct market for
I was
cover
going to
too,
say
not shown
there's
here.
also a direct
Yeah.
market cover. Um, and then there's the Death and Return of Superman 30th Anniversary Collection by Roger Stern. Earth Divers Volume 3, 1776 by Stephen Graham Jones and David Gianfelice. And then we have Fantastic Four Reckoning War by Dan Slott.
Hmm. All right, we have Heart Piercer by Rich Doak. We have Mini Marvel Hulk Smasher by Chris uh, Giarusso. Multiversity Harley Screws Up the DCU, Frank Terry. We have Peach Momoko's Demon Saga, Demon Wars, and Patrick Gleason's Robin, Son of Batman Deluxe Edition.
And in the next slide, we have Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman Omnibus. This is the Alex Ross Richards cover. And then we also have Star Trek Defiant Volume 3 Hell is Only a Word by Christopher Cantwell and Angel Anzueta. And Star Wars Darth Vader Black, White, and Red. It mentions Jason Aaron, but it's actually a collection of different authors and artists involved in this. And then Suicide Squad Dream Team by Nicole Maines. And last on this slide is Superman Kryptonite, the deluxe edition, new edition by Darwin Cook.
Continuing on, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Armageddon Game Deluxe Edition by various creators here. Weapon X-Men. This is Krista's Gage. We have X-Men Blood Hunt, pretty cheaper. And then your Gymbot Volume 1 Metal Silent, Sylvain Repos.
Yes, and that's it for the highlights. But like I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to leave you with the rest of the list, so don't go anywhere. So you'll be able to see what else is coming out in December for collected editions and graphic novels. Thank you for so much for watching this. We hope it was useful to you. Like I said, we're on social media: Instagram, X, Twitter, Facebook, and of course YouTube under at PRH International Comics. Make sure to check us out, leave comments, let us know what you're looking forward to next. And that's it. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.